The winter in North Idaho tends to start feeling relentless as we enter into March. It seems like spring should be just around the corner. But as I use a roof broom to clear the snow off the solar panels in minus 11 degrees Fahrenheit wind chill, spring really feels like it will never arrive. One of the most common chicken questions I get this time of year is, how do the chickens manage when it gets this cold? Do you need to supplement with heat lamps? No, the chickens do just fine in the cold as long as they are dry and out of the wind, is my reply. The winter does serve a good ecological purpose as far as resting the land and reducing insect pressure. It also gives us mandatory downtime from homestead projects and allows me to focus my attention on film projects. I'm happy to report I finished the documentary I made about the health crisis Melissa Norris went through and how she used food to overcome it.
I always say that a garden feeds the body, but it also feeds the soul. I have to say that when I am out in the garden, I think I've been taught some of life's most important lessons, and I actually feel the closest to God. I don't know if it's because when you're in, building, and not that we can't feel him everywhere, because we can, but for me, like the parables that you read about in the Bible of the weeds and the seeds and all of that have the vine pruning, all of that takes on a much deeper meaning and really becomes obvious when you are actually out in a garden and tending it.
That is tentatively due for release on Abundance Plus in May. I'm also all but finished on episode 4 of my documentary series on Abundance Plus, Discovering Home.
Come on, Danny. That's Lord Biggins. He's a little too big, I think, right now. But this is our breeding pair right here. Yeah, she's Mama. She might be a little fat too. Come on, Mom. Come on. She's gonna eat it all. You don't come over here.
Episode 4 features Josh and Carolyn Thomas of Homesteading Family. I'm most excited about this film because it's my first feature-length film. It should finish at just around 1 hour 30 minutes. I'm calling episode 4 The Seasons, since in my film we get to see what a day in each season of the year looks like for the Thomas family. A new Thomas baby is expected to be born any day now. Once the baby is born, I will get some final shots of the new addition to the family, and the film will be just about done. Episode 4 is premiering on Abundance Plus on April 28th. You can see these films and a bunch of other great content on Abundance Plus by clicking the link in the description where you can sign up for a free trial or use my 10% off coupon code found in the description.
Education and medical control was very important to us, along with, other maybe libertarian, just personal freedoms. And Idaho is one of the better states in the country where there's still a lot of freedom, and particularly in those areas in the educational area, being homeschoolers. You still have a responsibility to educate your children, but Idaho puts very little control over you.
The people were all very like-minded, a lot of people doing exactly what we're doing. And there was water. And so we moved up here and we have absolutely loved it ever since.
Aside from the documentaries, I've still been doing a lot of editing for the Justin Rhodes Show. Justin recently hired another editor to free me up to work more on filming projects for Abundance Plus. Pretty soon, I'm traveling to Vermont to film with Morgan from the popular YouTube channel, Goldshell Farm. Morgan had me as a guest on his podcast a couple years ago.
Growing up as a kid, did you always want to have a sheep farm?
No, absolutely not. That never crossed my mind until around 2010. So there was a long stretch of period where I had a very different career and I was focused in a very different way.
Yeah, like what were you doing?
So before I was raising sheep and homesteading in general, I was actually in police work. I was in law enforcement. I was a detective in Atlanta.
It was cool to get to chat with Morgan, but I'm even more excited to be getting to film with him in person for a few days. We're going to make some great content that dog lovers are really going to enjoy. More on that soon. Little Buddy is still chipping away at the viola. He wasn't happy with the sound he was getting during this practice session, so he asked me not to use the audio. I replaced it with audio of how he hopes to sound soon. Though winter does still hold a firm grasp on us here in North Idaho, we just need to hang in there for a few more weeks and we will start to see some glimmers of hope.